Yeah. Let's see what's going on though, cause we'll see. Hopefully, you can hear me. Hello. All right. We doing good. We doing real good. Make sure we gonna check these mics out, y'all. It is 6 p.m. in Central Illinois. You're now tuned in to Conscious Community Connections. Every Saturday we are on the airways, making sure everybody is listening up to what is going on in Urbana, sorry. But you're now tuned in to 104.5. That is Urbana-Champaign. All right, and I'm gonna just read my disclaimer. All right, this is WRFU 104.5. It's an open forum for Urbana-Champaign and our online community. Views expressed are those of the speakers and are not intended to represent WRFU, UC, IMC, or Urbana Socialist Forum. Okay? I can't see what I want on this thing. I can't see that. That's crazy. So, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, this has been our 6th month on the airway. We are doing real good. I'm doing good, Linda King. But we are doing real good. We're going strong. We're not going to stop at all. I'm so surprised at the number of people that actually do tune in every Saturday. But then by the time maybe like Monday come around, or even Tuesday, I review the actual numbers or the views of the actual video, and I see that a lot more people are tuning in more and more every single week. So I must be doing something and getting certain people to come in and actually talk about things that are going on in the community, especially the brown community. I'm gonna get right to it. Yes, Kiki is in the building, looking all, I ain't gonna go there. I love you, bro. But we got Malik in here.
Hello.
All right.
Speaking to the mic.
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
You do.
How y'all doing?
You want to check your mic, mister?
Hello, Champagne Urbana. How y'all doing? She trying to talk, have me in meetings all day, make me looking all raggedy.
Oh, man. We got all 3 mics working, bro.
That's good.
Gosh, I'm loving it. I'm liking it real, the real deal. I'm trying to make sure that in the future we get things set up so everybody can at least see us, and that we don't have any fuzzy, buzzy, crazy connections in the future. So I'm gonna be working on getting probably another phone or something, if not another camera, real soon. So I know you guys love to see me, but also the guest, the special guest, is not really about me though. All right, for real. So
yeah, it is.
Hey.
Nah,
hey.
I'm just kidding.
But let's get to it. I'm glad you strolled in and showed up. We've had a couple of like cancels and stuff like that, and I try to have people to like come on and slide in at the last minute, and Malik was like, heck yeah, let me get out in there.
Absolutely, I'm all the way with it. I'm excited.
Thank you.
I'm excited just for you and just for what you're doing right now, because I think this is big to have something that's
I know you guys
black
love
owned.
to see me, but
I'm all about that. Black owned. Taking things to our own hands and controlling the narrative.
Yes.
And just etc. You know
all
what
right.
I mean? All of that.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much for showing up. I do appreciate it. We've been doing a lot of leg work, you guys. I swear. We'll get to it on the different things that I want to talk about, but I just want everybody to know a little bit more about who Malik is. If you got some titles, if you want to say a little story about you, I don't know what you want to say, but just give me a little introduction of who Malik is.
I'm busy right now, I'll tell you that much.
Good.
I am a part of a couple of organizations in the city, and one is Truce. That is a violence interruption team, and that is started in Chicago, but we have a team here, and we're getting that established and getting the ball rolling with that. I'm happy about that because that's something that needs to be addressed. And also CYS, which is really Champaign-Urbana Youth Services, but it's called Champaign Youth Services. And I'm excited. I never pictured myself being in social work or anything like that, but I'm glad I get to interact with people and do the things that I do. I'm also an artist, from music artist to designer, graphic design, paint, just different mediums. So entrepreneur, very creative person, and I don't like to limit myself because I'm talented in different fields. So,
good attitude to have.
Okay. All right. Yes. Anything else? Because the last person that came up in here last week, she had a long list. I ain't gonna say nothing, but she had a long list, Kelsey. Yeah.
She was good. That was a good show last week. She was on point.
That's what I'm talking about. I like when people open, and I feel like the more you share, you know what I mean, the more people learn about you, learn about themselves, and they're like, oh man, okay, that's actually okay to say. I can, or they actually doing that too. I was thinking about that. Yeah. So, I mean, well, it's my little brother's birthday today, my baby brother. So it's his birthday.
Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday. Also, it's just been kind of a long week for me. My other little brother just placed fourth in the state, so congratulations to him in wrestling. So,
he in that state going on right now?
Yeah.
He's passing across the street from my job.
Oh yeah. At the State Farm Center.
Yeah, State Farm Center.
Yeah, him and his friend Cam, they doing that thing. So I'm proud of them.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Congratulations.
But
what school they go to?
Centennial.
Centennial? Okay.
Yeah, they kept saying Central over the microphone. I'm like, nah, get it right for these scouts out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all right.
They will get ours wrong.
Well, you done introduced yourself, and I just want you to talk a little bit about, or a little bit more about the entrepreneur side, the graphic designer, the artist. Can you just let me know, like, what made you take that route? What made you to go for it? Because a lot of people sit and ponder and just play around with different things, but they never actually do it.
Absolutely.
They just they'll tell someone something and then they don't get it done, or they don't set any goals and plans, and it never gets done. Like, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely.
And with the with the entrepreneur stuff, like what is it that you're actually like selling, or what kind of products do you have?
Okay. All right. First, I want to say one more thing about myself.
Okay.
I am a vegan in the works.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, I strolled in a second late. I actually stopped at Common Ground. I got a whole vegan pumpkin pie, and it is fire.
Dang.
Everything.
I'm gonna have to go check it out.
You go home with change clothes on.
Dang, hush. People can hear you, hush. Dang.
Got me looking
one
like
of the vegan pumpkin pies.
Kiki, stop it.
So one thing I will say, I'm glad you said something about people. They got all these great ideas, and it just it never really get done. I'm big on. Luckily for me, I'm gonna start out with me, and then I'm gonna go to that.
Okay.
Because that does need to be addressed.
Yes.
What inspired me is my grandpa.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He was a felon turned businessman.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So when he got out of prison, the side of him that I seen was the person who was always there for his family. The person who had his own business. He used to take us to work with him. He had a cleaning company, and it was with the family.
Okay.
So he literally had a contract with our daycare. So we'll go in with him after hours, play with the toys, and be like, okay, it's time for y'all to clean up. So it's like I learned my work ethic at a very young age from him, watching him and just learning the principles about business, and that really inspired me, you know. And a big part of that is just who I am naturally, who I am, who I was born to be, you know, because everybody's not cut out for that.
Yeah.
And since you brought up, you know, people having these big ideas and not necessarily executing, I think in situations like those, it takes a team.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because everybody's not a leader. Everybody has a different way of thinking. You might be good on the financial side, but you need the creative side too for your advertising, for your marketing.
Right.
And I'm just thankful that I have both. I just recently developed my left brain, all the analyzing the numbers and really breaking that down. And I don't know, it's been beneficial to me on the business side. So I think it's big to work in collaboration with others.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not, you know, everybody don't need all the glory for everything. You're only really going to grow when you have other people on your team.
Yes.
So,
most definitely.
Yeah. So a little bit about what I do. This is actually my brand right here. It's called Gold Heart.
Okay. Gold Heart.
Yeah. I released some shirts recently that have in the word mark on the back is actually my mother's handwriting.
Oh wow!
You know, so I took that from her a long time ago. She probably thought when I was like, Mom, right? You know, I need you to write out the whole alphabet. And I know she was just looking at me like, you know, and it took a little while for everything to come to fruition. But when it did, this is like, you know, I had to let her know I wasn't one of them people. I wasn't just talking, Mom.
Yeah.
But that's part of what I do. I study graphic design when I went to school, so that comes in handy. Things like this for me to be able to make my own logo, understand color psychology and the marketing.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's big right there.
Yeah.
So that helped me. I just never seen myself sitting at a computer desk for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I need to be doing something else.
Right.
So I've been an artist since very little. I used to do stuff like, while everybody else was eating, I was sitting there making stuff with my food. You know what I mean? So my grandma always reminds me of that. And I used to always draw Scooby-Doo.
Oh wow!
And just try to recreating things. You know, trying to sew things on my shirt when I was on punishment, stuff like that. You know what I mean? You know, and then I went to Crandon Art School in the summertime. Okay. When I was younger, you know, I didn't like it that much because it wasn't diverse enough for me. Yeah. And, you know, and they came in, they played the Beatles every day. I was the only black kid. It was just
wasn't your thing.
Yeah, it wasn't my thing.
Yeah, but you found your calling though.
Yeah, absolutely.
That opened your eyes to see something.
It definitely opened my eyes, and it changed my perspective on just creating an environment for yourself. So
exactly.
If I can create this, and I can create that, and I can do this job, you know, I believe I can create an occupation and environment for myself that favors and caters to me. Yeah. You know?
Everybody trying to get my house environment, get your own.
Get your own. It's just like, you know what I mean? We, as black people, we complain about all these award shows. We just... we create our own.
Hey, why not?
When we realize what power we have, you know, things like that. I also do paint a lot. I do window paintings, so they're like murals but temporary. I work with places. I work with West Quad, Mary Ann's, County Market more recently. Places like those. I've done shoe paintings, and let me say this to all the creative people out there. I've always, being creative can be I don't like using this term, but a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because if you're multi-talented, it can be hard for you to choose a path that you want to go with.
Right.
I was here, and here, and it seemed to me like, you know, I would always hear people say, well, you're putting 25% here, 25% here. Or they'll say, well, you always do this, and as soon as it starts to blossom, you quit.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't necessarily me quitting. It was me saying, oh, man, I don't want to leave this behind. What about this? What if this is really just what I love to do?
Right.
And I think creativity, the way it is, the way that people describe creativity, I think I think it may be, I think people who aren't necessarily creative people try to introduce that practicality that is not being fathomed by creative people.
Okay.
So when somebody says, oh man, you can't jump back and forth between these two business endeavors because it's not going to make you enough money. You have to capitalize on one.
Yeah.
And you have to master that and then build that up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a creative person is like, why can't I just do all of it? And I recently learned that if you look at a lot of, let's take Pharrell.
Okay.
For example. Started off, he's a musician.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He makes beats.
Yep.
He also designs clothes.
Yes, he does.
Also designs furniture.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
He takes that creativity and he expands it.
Yeah.
Because the problem is with the education system is, and this is for me personally too.
Yeah, I agree with you.
When a child is creative, first off, they're looked at as different. You know what I mean?
And they limit them.
And the only creative outlet that is given to them is art. Is when I say art, I mean painting or drawing.
Yeah.
Not even graphic design, not even all of the other mediums. Not sculpting, that's the first thing that's given to them.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to school and education, like, okay, so what do you want your major to be? Well, I'm interested in art. Well, you want to be an art teacher?
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Or
they trying to
you know,
put you in that box. They limit you. They put you in that box.
They put you in that box.
Yeah.
They put you absolutely, and that can be devastating to some people.
Yeah.
I've always been. I heard something recently where someone said because they didn't go to school, that made them develop an unorthodox type of style when it comes to making money and advertising. They didn't learn all the restrictions. Say, oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that. So they had an innovative style. Yeah. And they created new things.
Right.
And now you can hire all the people who went to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, so I would just say take that into consideration. Take the good out of it and what works for you.
I always say school ain't for everybody.
School is
I don't advocate school too much like that because school, you going to a system that, first of all, we going to a system we know little about. And they only teach you what they want you to know.
That's true.
And the main thing they're going to tell you, they teach you something that you can't even get your own job in your own field, first of all, and they charge a whole bunch of money so you're forever in debt.
Absolutely.
And so if you develop your own skills and pay for your own way, get you a trade and pay for your own way for your own teaching, they can't limit it because they can't tell you how to spend your money. But if they funding you and getting these grants, they can tell you how to spend your money. They can tell you what they want to teach you.
It's manipulation.
And I always say, I'm a big, I don't tell people to go to school.
You know, because some of us are first generation college students.
Oh, yeah.
Our parents ain't go to school. I am. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what do you know about the education system for real? Who teaches you about them grants, that financial aid, those loans? Who teach you about that 20 years down the road?
Nobody.
You know what I mean?
Nobody.
So you just taking stuff left and right. You going to school. You're not really guaranteed no job. You don't know what state is in high demand for your occupation.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
And they've taken out the electives. You know, like in
wood
shop.
basic, wood
I
shop,
said all the time.
home ec.
So they teach you. They take everything that teach you
how to
something.
cook, doing that type of stuff. They done took those things out, and those are fundamental. Those are hobbies too. And most of the time when you grow up, you want to do something that you really like and love, and that's probably one of your hobbies.
Exactly.
Like writing poetry, that could be a hobby, but a lot of people, they get paid to write. So why can't I, do just that? No, you need to take this and that, and math and stuff too.
Exactly. All of this unnecessary stuff. I'm like,
but we got to understand that, hey, it was a system. And I was saying this, the school system is broke. And I said that because it's just been this way, and it was made up to only last for so long. We've been in the school system for I don't know how long, but at the same time, it's not working anymore. The traditional school system is not working for us anymore. It's not working for a lot of people anymore. And we can see the trend more and more when my kid can't even pay attention in class anymore. You feel me?
And they slap a label on it.
My kid can't even turn in her homework because some of this stuff is irrelevant. I was saying and talking to somebody the other day, I remember Huckleberry Finn or something.
That's one of the racist book in the world. You ever read that book?
Hey, we had to read certain things now back in the day.
Is that the book? If that's the book when he's riding down the river and asked this somebody to get hurt, they say anybody but a couple Ian got killed.
I think so.
He
I don't know.
I'm not for sure. Isn't that book?
It probably is.
No, one of them books like that.
I'm serious, like just certain books. You get what I'm saying? That you actually had to read or read in the past because that was over 30 years ago or 20 years ago where it was okay to have those books in the class and you have to read them. But those books are irrelevant, or are they really relevant to us right now? No.
They're not culturally relevant, culturally appropriate. They're none of that.
Some of this stuff needs to be reworked. Some things need to be redone, and I said it needs a software update. Basically, it just needs a software update. Like we update our phone, let's update this dang on school system. Like it needs a software update every single year, every single something. Seriously,
absolutely,
seriously,
absolutely.
But who's gonna change it? We gotta change it.
You said
we gotta do that.
An update for what though?
An update. The update on
I'm talking about,
what's relevant.
But what's relevant for who though?
For who? Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. All right, I'm gonna give you an example. Some of the grad school. In grad school, you have to read theories. You have to research certain things. These theories have been 50 years old. Probably more than that. No telling. Why am I reading about a theory that is 50 years old or something when what about the ones that just came up 10 years ago? Are we still just duplicating off of their just theories? I'm just trying to get a little point that some of this stuff that was done 50 years ago is just too outdated. And we can't use that anymore. We need to do something else. You get what I'm saying? That's basically what I'm saying.
At the same time, right? We're going to use Sigmund Freud. Y'all know who that is, right?
Yeah.
We had to read that in Franklin. That's what my friend said on there. What? Huckleberry Friend.
Yeah. Y'all remember y'all remember Sigmund Freud. Y'all know who he is, the father of psychology. What is it? Psychology or whatever?
So-called.
The so-called father. Okay, now take his theories.
Some of his theories was not his own.
But listen, but the ones he did, you know what he used to medicate people?
What?
You don't know?
No, go ahead.
No, cocaine.
Oh, okay.
I'm serious.
Okay.
He's talking.
I ain't heard that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Serious. He was talking a lot of wives, lonely housewives, and all type of people. He medicated them with cocaine. But
that speaks a lot about his character.
Now, but look at.
But how long ago that was? It was okay to do that.
Okay, look. No, it wasn't. But
no, it was probably.
Okay. But now look at it.
It wasn't illegal then.
Now you say evolve, right? You say evolve. They evolving now. So the psychiatrist, what they give you, Ritalin, Therazone. They still give you Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
So now, take for instance, I had a friend about 2 or 3 years ago. She told me, well, yeah, I've been home. Yeah, 3 years ago, she said her daughter got to fight. This kid was in school bullying her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Asiatic sister. This kid kept messing with her daughter. Her daughter got mad and hit him. Any normal kid can do. Anybody can get tired of something. So they said she was in the wrong. They said she need to go see a psychiatrist. Go see somebody. So now they want to say she too hyper. Now they want to put her on drugs. So when you say evolve, then this a 7-8-year-old child.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say evolve, who is evolving for? Who is updating it for? Update for their purpose or our purpose?
Ours.
See,
okay.
For our purpose.
Okay.
I think
it's for our purpose because some of
But
that stuff is
they did evolve.
automatically written.
They still getting you drugs.
It's automatically written, and it's been going against a lot of different people, not just us. You get what I'm saying? A lot of different people. Now it's going against other racial, ethnicity or whatever, ethnic group. I can't talk tonight. I don't know. But it's going against a lot of different people. So now everybody wants to stand up. You get what I'm saying? At first it was just us. Now it's everybody. So we need to do something and we need to change because it's outdated. Period. Point blank.
I think it's more than just outdated. I don't think necessarily an update, because if you update and then you start to research what's not working and why it's not working, you'll find a lot of bias, a lot of racist agendas behind the information or what's even put into place.
Right.
So when I think it has to be started from scratch. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I say what you're doing is so important, because in the grand scheme of things, it's small, but I've always looked at it like this. In order for us to make real social change, then we have to, piece by piece, start building our own communities with our own things. And radio stations, schools, we construct our own education system. Where's the bias? Where's the, you know what I mean? Who can tell us what to teach? Because there are so many things, even about race in general, that need to be presented to these kids. Because, I mean, kids are literally dealing with trauma from microaggression. And I heard someone, Karen Sands said, microaggression is like 1,000 little cuts. And I think that is I think that's true, and I think that's important, because people doing passive aggressive things to you just because of the color of your skin. I mean, that might not be big to you because things like that are normalized within our culture. Like, just brush it off. Your dad in your life, just brush that off. Your cousin got shot. Man, why you crying? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like when those things become normalized, we become numb to it, but it still hits our psychology, our
we talk about that all the time.
You know what I mean? So and that can do a lot to you.
The subconscious.
It deteriorates your health on a physical level,
your subconscious, something else.
Right.
And so I think that is why it's important for us to build our own. Just when you just simply forget about all of that and you say, you know what, I'm gonna take this momentum, this energy, and place it right here. This is the first stone, you know what I mean, first building block set in place to building something new. For myself, for my people. Easier said than done. But I just got to get that out. Great.
I mean, we talking about some good stuff right now. I'm serious, because a lot of things are going on in Champaign-Urbana that needs to change, be reformed, if you want to call it, updated, whatever it is. But a lot of that stuff, like I said, it's outdated. A lot of the stuff that's going on is outdated, and if not, we need to make a change. And I've seen a lot of people in the community, a lot of leaders actually stepping up and actually, replacing the people that needs to be replaced on the school board, to city council, to whatever it is, you know. And I do believe that my generation, we're really stepping up and like taking on or taking that torch and actually leading people into a new beginning or something, you know.
I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, you know, I am too.
They let the wrong person in here, because right now I'm just sitting back and I'm studying the politics of the city. I'm just studying just everything. I'm just learning, you know, how the wheels turn. So so when I'm ready to make a move, then I know how to do it. For sure. So.
And we were talking about that last week. I do believe that we have a lot of big influential people in Champaign-Urbana, but the brown community is suppressed and it's limited, and the people higher up the chain don't look like us, in which they put pressure on our leaders that look like us and actually put them in a bind or in the corner, and it's like, you need to do this, you know, that type of thing, follow the rules or just something like that. So it's limited around here, but I still think that there's ways around that. There's ways around it, and we just have to play that game until we are able to obtain enough land or obtain or get a school or obtain something, and they'll listen to us.
You're right.
So I mean, I believe getting people in the, you know, the board, on the board or in city council or the meetings, and more people, you know, that actually want to do something and make a change. I believe that we are, you know, off to a great start right now. I really do.
Yeah, you're right. And what I'm liking that I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs starting to sprout in Champaign-Urbana, and like what I plan to do is create. I don't even want to say it.
You ain't got to.
You know what I mean? Because I just want to.
You can keep it to yourself. It's going. It's getting done. Yeah,
put
for
it like
sure.
that.
For sure.
But I like what I'm seeing, and you know, people in certain positions and high positions that are pulling strings, you know, on our behalf, you know, they have all of the knowledge, you know what I mean, to do what they need to be doing. You know, on our behalf, separate from that system. So yeah. Hey,
there's little programs and stuff that we praise on the show, and we see them working around town. You know, just dealing with smaller programs, and actually, you know, the more programs we have for the brown community, they know for sure that there's something that's working. You know, and you can see that, hey, these are the programs that we need. And we might not need your money or anything, but you can actually see the numbers, and then in which you're going to have to come to us to figure out what's the solution. We've been trying to do this all this time. You feel me? Like, what are you doing differently?
Y'all got the recipe.
We've been had the recipe. We've always had the recipe. You know?
Always.
Shoot, always had the recipe. And someone said the other day, it was crazy. They was like, hip-hop has ruled and took it over the world. I believe it. Because now I just hear it every which way, and it's just like, it's our culture, but everybody's adopted to it. They might not like us, supposedly, but like we are really booming and banging. What the heck are you talking about?
Exactly. We got so much influence.
Been having influence.
So much influence, so much power.
Yeah. We've been making waves. It's just those little things that we don't know or see, and we like, wow, that person really did invent this? Like, they were black? Like, oh, wow, we need to know more of these informations, and that's what they didn't put in those textbooks.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't put that in the textbooks.
Yeah, how you go about creating new textbooks. See, it'll be a lot of work, you know what I mean? But the thing is, there's already a structure. There's already a blueprint. So it'll be like a fill in the blank more than, you know what I mean? And then we can come with our own innovative twist. But
all right.
You know, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's about to get hot in here.
Yeah, I've always been a
The
fan of
energy
Mickey Mouse.
is great.
Yeah.
Energy is great. I was trying to talk about the entrepreneur stuff. You said your brand is called Golden Heart or Gold Heart?
Gold Heart.
Gold Heart. Why? What is that meaning?
That's a good question. Gold Heart is the name that I came up with to describe. Well, I came up with the brand message before the name and what it stood for.
For sure.
And it promotes positivity through different elements of design.
Okay.
So they're literally like color psychology. You look at a color and it can make you feel a way, or you relate it to certain things. So that is real. Numerology, things like that. I believe in things like that.
Yeah.
So, which could be labeled a pseudoscience, but it's also related to astrology. If you study that and you look at how even the criminal justice system looks to use that to catch criminals, like by your birthday, by your attributes, you know what I mean? So I feel like that validates it. Just different things like that. All those different elements of design to push positive messages.
Okay.
So each piece has a different positive message and represents something different, but it's all under the same umbrella. So I think Gold Heart and just the what's always been attached to Golden Heart and Gold Heart, Heart of Gold. Yeah. I thought that was a perfect title for the brand.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Did it take you a long time? To actually like get your name? You know, because a lot of people don't really know that, you know, some of this stuff takes time. You know, some people sit on their name, they'll actually get it done, they'll have to do some stuff, and then they probably, you know, lose momentum over time. And, you know, like, did it take you a long time to actually get this done and completed as far as like your name and stuff like that?
Okay, that's a good question. It did take me a while because originally I was working with someone and they had kind of a lot going on, but we weren't rushing the process. I'm just big on manifestation and trusting things, working at the speed that they're supposed to work at. Right. So eventually it was just like, you know, I have to do this. I got to make that leap because you started your career fresh out, you know, out of school, and this is what I do. You know what I mean? Right. So it's just like, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? And so I ended up starting it by myself. But as far as creating it, I always like taking time beforehand before I put something out, especially like a logo or something, because that's something that is going to be everywhere, and that's something that's not going to be, you're not going to be able to change that the next day. Right. That can destroy your brand, and people be looking like, what happened if you change the Nike symbol? People would be lost in the stores. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? This is not, I ain't buying this. Nike ain't do this. Right. You know, so it took me a while to get that, to get the brand put out there. But I also, I attempted to work with someone here that I worked with before, and I don't know, I felt like they're kind of giving me the runaround, so I reached out to a manufacturer overseas. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn how to do this. I got a lot of money on the line. You know what I mean? I'm just shipping to factory I ain't never seen before. But a big part of starting anything is research, planning, preparation. Anybody who's been in my house sees books everywhere, sees papers everywhere. See, I'm always looking into things and studying before I do anything. You know what I mean? Because if you want it to be done, you got to do it right. If you're going to do it right. If you want it to have some real value, you got to do it right. You know what I mean? And I think that is the part that a lot of, you know, people are missing when it comes, you know, when you mention, you know, people with high hopes and you don't really see no results.
Yeah.
You know, get it done. You got to do that, the prep work.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I got to read my disclaimer again. You already know it. So this is 104.5 FM Urbana-Champaign, WRFU. All right. You are now tuned in to Conscious Community Connections. All right. So this is an open forum for Urbana-Champaign and our online community. Views expressed are those of the speakers and are not intended to represent WRFU, UC, IMC, or Urbana Socialist Forum. I thank you guys for tuning in. Oh my goodness, I told you guys it's been like 6 months. We just been going strong. I am booked out until like May, I do believe already. So a lot of people, they be hitting me up, and I be getting out to certain people, but just please bear with me. I'm trying to do this the best way I know how. And that's every Saturday I have only one or maybe two people come in, but I want to make sure that everybody at least is able to be heard. I've been linking up with a lot of entrepreneurs lately, just trying to like motivate a lot more people to get out there and start doing more.
Support
you
each
know
other.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
support each other.
The more that I bring, the more people I bring in, they can get the the
recognition.
The recognition that they need. They can get more business, but at the same time, it's just like praising whoever comes in here for the work that they do.
Yep.
And I'm going to be getting more people that are not entrepreneurs in here as well, and just praising them for whatever, just them being alive and being a part of our community.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna take it to the next level, but hey, like you said, I don't need to say everything, I'm gonna just do it,
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the youth and our community and the unification. I know you're dealing with some of the you said the truce interrupters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I just want you to just elaborate on what needs to happen, in the future of the youth violence around town. We had an incident at Urbana High School where there was a fight, and then it just blew up to something really big, and I want to talk a little bit about, what we can do, as a community to come together and not mainly like focusing on the actual fight, who was in the fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, what can we do as a community? What kind of plans can we do in the future? Like, what do we need to do differently? What needs to be reworked, updated, whatever it may be,
I think a big part of it is, well, you said it, just being unified, reaching out to people with these different services, and not from a I pity you type of perspective, but from a I'm your brother, I'm your sister, you're gonna get this done together because I got some problems in my household as well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That type of perspective. And everybody just can't do it by themselves.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
It's a lot of single parents out here.
Yes.
It is a lot of a lot of people that are dealing with children who are overwhelmed by by negative influence. You know what I mean? Or they don't really understand their child enough to be able to reach them, or they just don't care. Sometimes it just happens like that. But we want to be able to turn that around and, communicating with these people, being more tuned into the community and connected with them. I think that's important.
Okay.
On a personal level.
Okay. Just seeing the different videos that they had online, I got a couple of nieces and also a cousin, they're young as well, so they hear different things about what goes on, you know, around town. Yeah. And a lot of social media is actually like making the beef itself bigger than maybe what it actually is. Yeah. But now, you know, since we're in a different age where things on social media can really like enhance the fight or the anger, you know, the public perception. Absolutely. Yes, it does. And like back in the day, we can compare it and say like, you know, me and Kiki got a beef going. It won't be too big because everybody don't know what's going on. Only probably me, Kiki, and a couple of other people do. Now it's like everybody in the whole town know about your business. You got punked last night because we seen it on Snapchat. You feel me? Like, how can we, you know, kind of like teach these kids like how to regulate their emotions or how to like ignore certain things, because it feels like they always have to defend themselves and they feel like they're obligated to say, or you know, like how can we teach these kids to, you know?
I think a big part of that is the kids themselves with their mentality. You know what I mean? It's just like that's excitement to them. It's like, oh, I gotta see that, you know what I mean? I have to see this, gotta share this. And it being on video makes it that much worse, because it's like if you seen it on video and you don't even live on that side of town, you automatically assuming this is a big video, right? Like that is everywhere. It's like a World Star video. If you out of state and you seen that, it's just like, you know what I mean? You automatically thinking it's a big deal. So that's just the energy and the hype around it. So, and I think it is. To change that, we have to change the culture. You know what I mean? We have to change the culture and say, hey, this is not okay. That is not what's up. You know what I mean? You promoting violence. You know what I mean? You sharing that with other people. That shouldn't, you know what I mean? Because in a healthy society, you should, you know, you wouldn't even want to see that type of fight. You wouldn't, you know, in a healthy environment, you wouldn't want to see somebody getting beat up like that, you know, or something like that. You wouldn't want to see that type of violence.
Go back to what you said earlier about it's normal now.
Yeah, it's normalized.
Normalized. Stuff like that, they think it's normal.
Absolutely. It's another fight. It's another brawl. You know what I mean? Some more gang activity. It's some more. And we have to change the culture and revert and flip that. And we can, it'll take time, but you can do it with each. You can do it now, and then that'll change it for the new generation. If you instill it right. You know?
Okay. Okay, all right. You got some questions, Kiki?
Man, you
good.
Over
here sleep.
Man, I'm tired.
Kiki tired. Oh my gosh.
I've been up all night work.
Oh my goodness.
Meetings with people. I end up meeting.
Hush. Okay. Hush. All right.
But no, like you said though, how old are you?
23.
Are you? So you're in the age bracket. So, do you think a message come better for somebody in your age bracket or somebody older? A positive message to change, to do this and that.
I wouldn't say. I think it depends on what the message is. You know what I mean? And how extreme it is. You want them to change from here to here or here to here. You know what I mean? So I think with culture, if you never, like, look at how, let's say, for example, you take a black kid out the hood and you take a white kid out the suburbs. They're the same age. You know what I mean? They see that type of fight, they're going to react to it totally different than this kid in the hood. You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of age. It's just how their parents taught them. It's not it can be more than the culture of the race. It can be the culture of the household. You know what I mean? Like, they don't see that. So they're
not exposed to things at young ages.
Exactly. And as a black community, we tend to be exposed to a lot more than we need to, you know what I mean, on the negative side, and not as much as we need to on the positive. You know what I mean? Because a lot of parents think that their kids running around here don't know about sex, and you're not teaching them nothing, and wondering why, you know what I mean, they're popping up with babies at a young age.
They go with that,
like that.
Then they go with that stereotype. That's why they treat our children different.
Exactly.
That's why they treat our children as adults.
They can't understand them.
And instead of as children. They figure they've been through so much already. Am I going to treat them as an adult? Call a 14-year-old,
all of that.
Calling a 14-year-old boy a young man or a man. Yeah. Good answer to you. I like that.
They growing up raising kids themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely a culture thing. As far as the message, when you're talking about, I think it's okay to hold the older people to a higher standard. You know what I mean? But there are things that are age appropriate, you know, so change. And I think it's more so a matter of pushing. If you take something away from somebody, I think that has to be replaced.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So telling them, hey, don't, you know what I mean? Don't watch these fights. Tell them what they should be watching and why that's better for them. Teaching them. Teaching them at the end of the day.
Okay.
You know, and let them, because they're going to make the decision. Just give them that opportunity. Give them more options, you know, and that's what's not being provided.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. That's a good one here today, Heather.
Yeah,
you do. He's a smart young man.
Appreciate it.
I don't stick to none of the questions that I sent to you.
I like it. That's cool. I like it.
But I just gave you, you know, 4 or 5 basic questions. And I just want to say, you know, out there that we had a fight 2 weeks ago at Urbana High School, right? And basically they locked the school down. Then they sent everybody home, basically, you know. And then we're having some issues with how the school board or Urbana High School is dealing with this issue with our brown students. And we're trying to basically let the school board know, and even whoever's around, you know, Champaign-Urbana concerned about how they're treating certain people differently or whatever due to people's behavior. You know, we're trying to make sure that people understand that the more like-minded people of the same genre, I ain't even gonna say color, genre, as these kids with behavior problems will possibly curb most of these problems inside of schools. Period. You know, and we've been saying this for years, you know. So I think we need to make sure that we come together as a community in order to make sure that they can hear us loud enough. You know, just because, you know, Johnny, Keisha and Tanya, you know, they don't want to support us as a group, as a whole, standing up for their kids, you know, doesn't mean anything. Because Tamika and Johnny and whoever else, they don't want to put in that legwork. They don't want to stand up or say anything because they like, well, that ain't my kid, or since it is my kid, y'all now don't want to do nothing for my kid, and y'all ain't been worried about it, and, you know, having that nasty attitude about certain things. But I want everybody to understand that we are trying to come together and actually curb these people from actually labeling our kids and actually like throwing away the key. Because what they're trying to do is basically lock the kids up. They're 16, 17, put them in JDC. That's like messing up their confidence and everything else. But then also at the same time, it's like telling them like, hey, this is where you should be, this is what you deserve, and this is gonna basically lead you down this path of being that criminal. You know?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say my little input on that right there. It's already setting them up to fail.
I agree all the way.
Point blank.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Agree.
Urbana doesn't have an alternate school, or they used to have storefront back in the day. What else was the other one? They had storefront. I don't know. If somebody tell me, I don't know what else they had. They had something else.
Why is it called storefront?
Yeah,
It used to be
storefront.
storefront. That was Champaign.
I ain't-
It was
I
an
ain't from
alternate
there.
school.
Yeah.
Dang.
Sound like something supposed
It
to
was
be bought
another
there.
one.
I don't know.
It was another one. I don't know who watching, but it was another alternative school in Champaign, Urbana. But Urbana doesn't have an alternate school.
Mhm.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I think that is a problem.
That's a problem.
I think this whole big incident, I look at it as an opportunity.
For sure.
Because
For sure.
it doesn't just look bad on the kids' behalf. It also looks bad on behalf of Urbana. Because of how the information was put out there, and because of how they're handling the situation.
And them handling this situation, but also prior situations before this.
So now we're seeing, you know what I mean? We're seeing this being repeated, and I think it is. I see it as an opportunity because
he can't text me. Tell Tiger, I know you listening. You cannot text my phone because my phone is linked to the live thing.
So I think like what you were saying, we need to have people speaking on our behalf that don't necessarily, you know what I mean, look like us, but have a similar story. And I did see that happen. You know what I mean? I seen some white women, some Latino women, just people that come from similar backgrounds. You know what I mean? Who had a voice?
Yes.
That worked in the school or in the community, that was speaking for these students because they can understand where they were coming from. And they said, okay, we have enough insight to know that we tried this in the school and y'all neglected it, and now you see what's happening. And you don't have an alternative. And it's looking bad in the media because of how it was put out. So now I see it as an opportunity for Urbana to kind of right their wrongs by letting the community handle the community's problems, because they're teachers at the end of the day.
For sure.
You can choose not to. It is. I can understand them not wanting to be overwhelmed or overburdened by trying to change another student's life who they have no connection to, who they cannot. They can't even relate to that person. They're not speaking the same language at all.
You said at the same time. Go back to the incident that happened a couple weeks ago. At the same time, the news and the media are getting them a way out. Cause they point the picture at the kids like they're the problem.
Yeah, the news did do that.
Yeah, they call them fascists, fascist groups and all this and that. But at the same time, they really the victim, because what kind of training do you got to train these teachers to understand what's going on for certain situations.
And they weren't prepared at all.
And what kind of training do they have for a situation like this to happen? They know it's going to happen, because it's not the first time this situation happened, and like they just didn't go abroad. So what kind of training, what kind of safe words, what kind of safety nets they put around to protect these children for situations like this? But their option is to call the police, which is one I think is the worst option of all, because now you can get them in the criminal justice system. They're going to fall for the rest of their life, because they're going to treat them as adults. They ain't going to treat them as kids.
But to them, that's not even their problem.
Exactly.
And they didn't have a plan, or
or
they probably did have a plan, but they didn't get rid of the person that actually had the plan in the first place. So it was kind of like, you guys, is a domino effect. Certain things just start falling, and just a big old, maybe like snowball effect. Everything is